What could Lewis Hamilton have said behind closed doors at Ferrari that left the entire management team completely stunned? Why is a seven-time world champion now being called a voice of reform rather than just a star driver? And what does his unexpected internal report reveal about Ferrari's real problems that no one has been willing to say out loud? According to insiders close to the situation, Hamilton's latest move inside Maranello has nothing to do with lap times or race results. It's about something far more damaging to Ferrari's championship ambitions. And after months of frustration with the unpredictable SF25, the British driver has delivered a message that could either save Ferrari's future or expose cracks that run deeper than anyone imagined. Here's what makes this situation so significant. The SF25 was supposed to be Ferrari's return to glory. Instead, it's become a case study in inconsistency. On Fridays, the car looks fast and promising, capable of competing with the best. But by Sunday, that pace vanishes, replaced by instability, brake issues, and erratic balance that leaves both Hamilton and Charles Leclerc fighting a machine they can't predict. But Hamilton's internal statement reveals something even more concerning. According to sources familiar with the report, this isn't just about technical design. It's about communication breakdowns, slow decision-making, and coordination failures between departments. Hamilton reportedly told Ferrari's top brass that the team reacts too slowly to changing track conditions, that strategy adjustments take too long to implement, and that internal feedback gets filtered before it reaches the people who need it most. In a sport where milliseconds define winners and losers, Ferrari is reportedly losing seconds simply through operational inefficiency. And for a driver who lived through Mercedes's transformation from mediocrity to 8 consecutive Constructors' Championships, Hamilton knows exactly what a winning operation should look like. But the timing of Hamilton's intervention raises serious questions about what's really happening inside Maranello, because this wasn't an emotional outburst or a passing comment made in frustration. At first glance, you might think Hamilton's statement is simply about fixing the SF25's technical issues, that this is just another case of a frustrated driver venting about an underperforming car. But the evidence suggests something far more strategic is happening here. Sources describe Hamilton's report as structured and methodical, a complete breakdown of Ferrari's operational problems, from the factory floor to race weekend decision-making. He's reportedly pushing for a faster decision pipeline between the track group and Maranello, more freedom for engineers to adapt in real time, and a culture that values collaboration over hierarchy. What makes this particularly significant is how it's been received. Team principal Frédéric Vasseur, once praised for bringing stability to Ferrari, now faces questions about his leadership after another season without a victory. Reports from Italy hint at quiet friction between Vasseur and senior figures like Matteo Tonali, who leads the track operations group currently under scrutiny. Hamilton's call for greater efficiency and flexibility has been interpreted by some insiders as an indirect critique of that department's performance. And here's where it gets interesting. Rather than defending the current structure, some at Ferrari reportedly see Hamilton's intervention as the wake-up call the team desperately needed. Because what Hamilton is really pushing for could completely reshape Ferrari's approach to the 2026 regulation era. And the evidence points to a driver who's no longer willing to just adapt. According to sources close to the situation, Hamilton's statement goes beyond immediate fixes. He's reportedly urging Ferrari to stop chasing short-term solutions and focus instead on Project 678, the 2026 car that will define Ferrari's future under new regulations. For Hamilton, this is the moment to rebuild not just a car, but a culture capable of sustained success. The data tells a different story than Ferrari's public messaging. While the team insists there's no crisis and praises Hamilton's professionalism, insiders say meetings have been held to review aspects of his report. Some of his proposed changes, particularly regarding communication protocols and data flow between departments, are already being discussed internally. What gives Hamilton's words extra weight is his experience. This is a driver who remembers what it took to turn a struggling team into a dominant force. The willingness to question assumptions, to prioritize data over egos, and to accept that meaningful change requires uncomfortable conversations. Sources suggest he reminded Ferrari's leadership of exactly that, framing his observations as constructive criticism rather than attacks. The timing couldn't be more significant. With Ferrari's championship hopes fading and fan confidence shaken, Hamilton's insights represent either an opportunity to reset the team's trajectory before 2026 or evidence that the problems run deeper than Ferrari has been willing to admit publicly. But perhaps the most revealing aspect of this situation is how Charles Leclerc has responded, and what that unity between Ferrari's two-star drivers really means for the team's future. While Leclerc has stayed diplomatic in public, sources close to the team say he agrees with much of Hamilton's analysis. Both drivers are reportedly united by the same disappointment: a car that flatters to deceive and an organization that struggles to adapt when it matters most. For Ferrari, that unity is both a validation and a warning. When two of the grid's most talented drivers share the same concerns about operational structure, it's no longer about individual frustration. The evidence suggests systemic issues that could hamper Ferrari's competitiveness well into the new regulation era. The reaction inside Maranello has been intense. Some long-serving staff have reportedly taken Hamilton's comments personally, seeing them as criticism of Ferrari's heritage and traditions. Meanwhile, younger engineers view it as validation, proof that someone of Hamilton's stature shares their frustrations with outdated processes. What happens next could define not only Hamilton's legacy in red, but the entire direction of Ferrari heading into 2026. If the team's leadership acts on his recommendations, it could mark the beginning of a genuine cultural transformation. If they resist, it raises serious questions about whether Ferrari has the institutional courage to evolve. The pattern is clear. Hamilton's influence inside Ferrari is growing rapidly. He's no longer just a driver trying to adapt to a new team. He's becoming an architect of its future, someone unafraid to challenge the very structure of the organization he represents. But significant questions remain. Will Ferrari's management truly embrace Hamilton's push for structural change, or will tradition and hierarchy resist the kind of transformation he's calling for? Can the team implement these operational improvements quickly enough to salvage something from the current season while building toward 2026? And perhaps most importantly, if Ferrari doesn't act on Hamilton's guidance, what does that mean for his future in red beyond the current contract? History shows that when Hamilton speaks with this level of conviction, the Formula One world pays attention. The question now is whether Ferrari is really listening. What do you think Ferrari should do? Let me know in the comments below, and if you want to stay updated on how this situation develops, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell.